Hi guys, what is illuminating my gorgeous face right now is a brand new light, the FL225B from FeelWorld, and this is one of the best, if not the best light in its category. And yes, I am surprised I am saying that as well. This is a 225 watt bi-color light, which is fantastic in many ways, and with a few tweaks, it would be damn near perfect. So let's talk about it. So big thanks to FeelWorld for sending over the FL225B for testing for you guys, as well as the FSP90 softbox. It's a 90 centimeter softbox. Fantastic softbox. One of those quick release softboxes that you don't have to take the poles in and out. One of the new style ones. And it has a little Velcro strap to keep it neat. A nice little carrying case. Easy to put together. Easy to take down. 2 layers of diffusion and a nice grid that comes with it. Definitely one of the best softboxes that I have here in the studio. I love it. And while it's a big honking softbox, it fits just great on the FL225 because it takes Bowens mount accessories. It has a Bowens mount after all, and it also has actually a little place for an umbrella. If you don't want to put up a big honking softbox like I'm gonna do every single time, you could put in a little umbrella and hold it right there. That's nice when that is included, just to keep you covered. So it's a color accurate light. It's a CRI of 96 and a TLCI of 97, which is very good for the category of this light. 225 watts, and you get about 7,950 lux at 1 meter at the 5600 Kelvin temperature, which is the brightest you will get out of this light. And that is definitely pretty good, once again, for the category. Comes with this nice little carrying case, which is essential if you're going to be moving your light around, if you're on the go with your lights and whatnot. And some of the cases, in fact, most of the lights in this category don't come with cases. So just don't take this for granted. I will never take you for granted. Comes with a little hyper reflector in my fantastic little case that I will not take for granted. And it just has a little power brick here and enough cord for it to be able to go up about 7 or 8 feet without having to dangle it from the light stand at all. But plenty of room on the cord. Nice thick cord. Would definitely trust this to take some abuse. Now, the build quality of the light itself is pretty good. It's a hard plastic. It's got a lot of holes in it there for heat dissipation. It has active cooling and it has a fan, and the fan it's noticeable if you are in a very quiet room like right now. I can definitely hear the fan, but it is about 38 decibels or so, which is about par for the course, I find, for a lot of these lights. But the thing about this fan is it's an extremely pleasant sound. A lot of the lights I have, including my small rig, this one's actually the 120. You'd be comparing the 220 to this guy over here because that's a more powerful light. But the 120 is very similar to the 220, and it has a little high-pitched whirring. It's about 38 decibels as well, but there's this little electronic high-pitched sound that I definitely don't like when in comparison to right here, the FL225. It is just such a pleasant, almost like if you're on an airplane, just that low rumble, and very easy to remove in post if somehow your microphone does pick it up. So nice, consistent, low sound, nothing annoying about it. It's the best sounding fan I have heard on any of my lights. But much like the small rig, it has these plastic fasteners right here. And, I'll just show you in the B-roll the picture of the fastener. And it's just that these things, the plastic ones, when you're cranking them with the big heavy soft boxes, I mean, it holds just fine for now. It's just you worry about the longevity. And I would prefer like the metal yoke, with the gripping teeth. And I have one over here. This is my Godox VL150, and you see this metal yoke here. This is what I would like to see on all of these lights because it's just so much more sturdy. It gives you more confidence that this thing is going to last a long time and that a big heavy softbox is not going to cause any cracks in plastic because there's no plastic here, just metal and solid. And there is one light in this category that does have this type of yoke, and that is the Nanlite. The Nanlite 200. You know what? I'll put it up at the end, but it's the Nanlite 200 something or other. It's the Nanlite FS200B. So many letters and numbers. You can control everything from the ballast of the light, just the back of the light there. You don't actually need to use one of those controller boxes. Now, personally, I kind of like the controller box because I can reach over and manipulate it without necessarily having to get up when I'm filming myself. So when I use lights like this, I like to use the app. Now, when it comes to the app works quite well when it works, but I do think that there is a lot of room for improvement on the app. And if anything is a weak point about this light, I would say it's its app. I'll just go into the app and show you now, but here's the thing. When you first set it up, they ask for your email. So you have to give them your email because they will send you a confirmation code to go in. And my confirmation code sometimes would take like 5 minutes to come, and it was super annoying. And then when I did get it connected, sometimes I got disconnected and then I had to start again. And then they wanted me to send in my email again so they could send me another confirmation code. I find that very clunky, not efficient, and I don't know why you're doing that, FeelWorld. So please change that on your app. Just let me open the app and then connect it to Bluetooth, and then everything will be fine. So I am actually connected to the app already, so I'll just go in and show you. Now here's actually where you can see where the bicolor will pay some dividends here. I set it to 5700 because my UL60 that I have over here, I find that the 5700 matches better with the UL60. So when I had that at 5600 and that at 5600, it was a little bit off. Turn that one to 5700, then they matched up just great. Now, I don't know which light is, closer to actual 5600, but that doesn't matter because I can switch this light, which is one of the great reasons to have a bicolor light. And then I can just manually white balance, and Bob is your uncle. And you'll see we're only at 24% brightness. Should we turn it up all the way? You photosensitive people, be careful. I'm going to blind myself right now. Hold on. This is 100%. 100% right there. And this is a good look, right? And then I can just switch it back down to 25 with the quick button there, and then one little minus, and I'm down to 24. Now, there's lighting effects here. I'm not going to read them out. It looks like there's, 10 of them? And, they're there. I don't know if you're going to use them. I never do, but they're definitely more usable when you have a bicolor light, when you have things like flame, you want to look like you're sitting by a campfire, stuff like that. And then the quick adjust, this is just if you want to make very fast adjustments to either this light, or if you have several lights set up on in your little scene here, then you can control them all here with this all button. See, I just turned it all off. Now I'll turn it all back on, and I'll make sure that I am still at 24. Yeah, still at 24%, looking gorgeous. So that's the app right there, and it works pretty well. I just wish that they wouldn't make you go through those steps at the beginning. I wish it was an easier app to connect to, and then I think that I would praise the app far more. So let's talk about the competition. The other lights in this particular category, well, the Amaran 200X is probably the most famous. You have your Godox Lichtmans, you have your small rig RC220B, and you have your Nanlite FS200B. And now, while the Amaran is a great light from a great company, Aperture is the brand that owns Amaran, and they have that Sidus Link app, which works really, really well. And if you have other Aperture lights, it makes a lot of sense to get an Amaran 200X, but it doesn't come with any kind of carrying case, and the fan noise I find to be a little bit loud on the Amaran, but that is still a great light and a great option. So the small rig is a little more expensive, but it does come with a carrying case. It is a color accurate light. It's actually, the small rig is even brighter than this particular light, but the small rig does have the fan noise that I find to be a little bit irritating, whereas this fan noise is very pleasant. So out of the two in the studio, I would rather have the FL225. Now, I do use the small rig ones in the studio, and I just put up with that little high-pitched whine that you can't hear on the mics, but I can hear it because I have supersonic here. I'm like a superhero, basically. But this light, definitely a more pleasant fan sound. Speaking of fan noise, the Godox Lichtmans, that I love Godox. As I say, the UL60, UL150, those are my jam. I keep those, but those are silent lights with passive cooling. And but the Lichtmans, it seems to have, it has the loudest fan of all of the lights that I have heard, and that for me is a no-go. So I wouldn't put that 200 watt light in my studio, in this little tiny studio anyway. So for me, I wouldn't use the Godox, and also that does not come with a carrying case either. So, you know, for me, the FL225 beats out the Godox, at least for me in this studio. The Nanlite FS200B, that does look like a good option, especially with that nice metal yoke that it has, but I find it hard to find that for sale. It's usually not around. They sell a lot of the 300B, but the 200B is kind of seemingly going by the wayside. But if you can find one, then that does seem like a very good option. However, once again, that does not have a carrying case, so you're going to have to buy an extra case for that guy, and I actually haven't been able to test the 200 in terms of fan noise, so I can't reliably give you my opinion of how that fan sounds because I haven't been able to get one in. Now, the fan on the 300B sounds pretty good, but yeah, so for me, since you know I don't know how that fan noise is going to be, I do want a carrying case. Once again, I'm going to go with the safe choice, which is the 225 FL, the FL225B. Now, my lighting setup is not going to change here in the studio because I got those Godox UL150 and UL60 because they are silent lights, and I want that in the studio. You can't transport those easy. They're kind of big. They don't have carrying cases, and they are certainly pretty expensive. So if you are looking for a bicolor light, though, that has a nice bit of power, that has 225 watts and can do a great job for you and has a nice, pleasant, low volume fan, boy, the FL225B, that might be the way to go. So FeelWorld, they sell a smaller version as well, the FL125B and the 125W, which is just the daylight balanced light. So if you don't need as much power, and certainly I actually don't need as much power. You saw it, 24%. So I could go with a cheaper $199 light, which is the 125 versus the $349 that the FL225 is going to come in at. But anyway, tell me down below what you think. What is your lighting setup? Write that in the comments. That will help with the algorithm if you write a bunch of things, and then I will answer you and say, oh, that is a terrible lighting setup. You don't know what you're doing. That's what I will say. That's how I talk to people because I am a terrible person. Anyway, talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.